All right, everyone, let's hear it for Nico.
Years old and the summer sun beats down on my black bowl cut, heating my scalp and sending streams of sweat to the tips of my hair and into my collar. It's so hot I could take off my shirt, but my mom and I already had that battle. Ay, mija, what are you doing, you changa, loquita? Put your shirt back on right now, girl. Why? They all get to take off their shirts. It's not fair. You are a girl. You're too old to be going around like that anymore. But mommy, do you want a spanking? Put that shirt on right now, girl, before I tell your daddy. 5 years old, and my favorite outfit is a navy blue velvet sailor suit. Blue like boys, navy like my daddy. I smooth my chubby hands over my belly, fuzzy like Grover, and round like E.T. A shadow falls over me as I play with my Voltron action figures in the yard. Hey, you want to play? He is blonde like Jesus, blue-eyed too, his hair curling soft around his pink angel cheeks. I don't know his name, and he doesn't know mine, but he is so nice to me, not like the other boys I play with, who make sure to treat me extra rough because they don't want to get beat by a girl. I let him boss me around and choose which toys we'll play with. I even let him be Lino and settle for being stupid-ass Panthro when we play rousing games of Thundercats. Now, as a cynical grown-up man, I know that he was just hustling me for the toys that he would never get to call his own. He didn't have the kind of mother who would comb the thrift stores and swap meets for all the latest Toys R Us cast-offs. At the time, though, I couldn't have been happier to have my own personal baby Jesus to play with. 22 years old, and I am home from college. My mother is ashamed to show the rest of our family my graduation pictures. The anime boy hair beneath the graduation cap, the brown slacks and button-down shirt beneath the gown. 22 years old, and my mother, as always, is telling me stories. Remember that white boy that lived on the block, mija? Which one, Mom? The puti, the one that used to play with you sometimes. Oh yeah, whatever happened to him? He never came around anymore after a while. Yeah, well, I never told you, but there was this one time you weren't home, and he comes to the door and he says, "Can I play with your little boy?" "I don't have a little boy," I says. "Oh, you mean my little girl. Her name is Monica." He just looked at me so confused. "Oh," he says, and he just left, baby. He never did come back after that, did he, mija? No, he didn't, Mom. 22 years old, and I can hardly explain the sadness that I feel. I think that I may never know the friendship that exists between boys again. I may never be a boy again either, or be so completely and heartbreakingly betrayed. 26 years old, and I have been asking everyone in my life to call me he and Nico for almost 4 years. 26 years old, and not only am I becoming the man I want to be, I am also finally accepting my lifelong calling to become a teacher. Little did I know that these two ways of becoming would become so intimately related. During the 6 weeks of student teaching that would supposedly prepare me to step into my very own classroom and mold young minds, I witnessed many of the students in Mr. A's class regularly calling another student, who I will call Lamar, names such as faggot, punk, and fruity, words that implied that his demeanor was something less than manly. When I brought up the name calling that Lamar endured, other educators in the classroom said things like, "Oh, they all insult each other like that all the time. It doesn't mean anything." One morning I walked into class and saw that Lamar was missing. The master teacher, Mr. A, informed me that he had kicked Lamar out for the rest of the summer because he had allegedly grabbed another student's genitals while they were in the bathroom. I was stunned, especially when I heard that the student who had made the accusations was the same student who teased and taunted Lamar more than any of the others. How did it make sense that the person who was being harassed on a daily basis was the one being punished? Would there even be any investigation into the matter? Feeling that I couldn't rock the boat, I did not pursue the matter further. In that moment, my powerlessness to change the situation is what fueled my desire to never see it happen again. Fast forward 6 weeks later. It is the first day of school in my very own classroom, a special education program for students who have been labeled as so emotionally disturbed that they had to be segregated into their own classroom with a teacher, an instructional assistant, a therapist, and a behavior specialist. All 12 of these students in a school that is 1/3 African American, all 12 of these students are African American boys. Amongst my new 9th grade students is a 14-year-old young man who I will call Daniel. In special education reports written by his past teachers, Daniel was characterized as having a bad attitude, often talking back to teachers and school staff, talking to peers excessively, failing to complete all his work, and causing a scene when he wanted to get out of the work that he found difficult. Daniel's 8th grade teacher reported that he tended to use effeminate gestures and acted dramatic, provoking his peers to call him names and harass him because his behaviors were abnormal for a young man. I had observed Daniel's behaviors myself, but rather than seeing them as abnormal, I saw them as the actions of your typical queen, destined for a life of fabulousness. I encouraged Daniel's interest in fashion and drama, enrolling him in a drama class outside of the special education classroom. I spoke with Daniel and his family about moving him out of class. I fought with administrators and therapists who feared that Daniel would break down or be a menace to the general school population. By the end of the year, I finally moved Daniel out of my class of so-called emotionally disturbed youth. The next fall, I would see him in the halls from time to time. He would wave at me casually from behind a group of adoring girls and go about his life, or even just ignore me completely. I couldn't have been happier. I felt for the first time in my life that being able to do my job effectively absolutely depended on the man I was and how I saw the world. Today, at this moment, I'm 31 years old, and most of the world calls me Nico. My students and coworkers call me Mr. Dacumos, even if they slip up and call me she once in a while. Most of the time I laugh off the slip-ups and the confusion, understanding that people can show me respect in ways other than getting my pronouns right every single time. I mean, I get it. You guys might listen to my voice and think, I thought this was called the Men's Story Project. Other times I grow tired of writing this in-between space, of the double takes and confused looks. I grow tired of the blood that flows from between my legs each month, reminding me of just how little control I have over my body. I imagine that if my will were strong enough, I could convince my body to become male the way certain fish do, changing their sex at will. I wonder what it would be like to be just a man, simply and undeniably just a man. Walking down the street the other day, I saw this guy, cute from head to toe, with his handsome, light skin, Latino and maybe something else features, chunky solid body frame, Saturday morning stubble, thick black glasses, and emo Latino dress style. He was a man just like any other, enjoying the sun as it cut through the cold of autumn. As I looked at him, I heard a voice in my head say, "That could be you." Somehow, though, thinking about being that man made me sad. I go back and forth between believing that it is a beautiful blessing to inhabit this body that is mine, and just wanting to be able to pass as a man to any person I encounter on the street. Flat chest, facial hair, deep voice, safe, easy. But then is there anything about being a man that is safe or easy? Maybe what makes me the man I am are the contradictions that ride my body, the curve of my hips hidden under blue jeans, the swell of my chest mitigated by a tight strip of cotton, lashes so dark my lovers ask if I'm wearing eyeliner, the planes of my face suggesting a 5 o'clock shadow that is smooth and cool to the touch. A manhood that invokes a desire that is frightening for some, but that for others is just what they have always been seeking. Will I still be beautiful after the surgeries and the hormones? What will I forget? What will I lose forever? Am I really ready to take these next steps? Or is there honor in becoming truly happy and comfortable as the female-bodied man who stands before you today? Not a woman, but female, not male, but a man. No explanations, no justifications, just me.